Hey guys, welcome back to another exciting episode of All About You. In today's video, we will be going over a Naruto deck profile. Yes, I said Naruto. Normally I don't do these things, but a lot of you's been requesting a lot of different Naruto content. A lot of my subscribers, they've been hitting me up, letting me know that they, love some of the videos, like the gameplay videos and some of the videos where I go over the card choices and like the top 5 or top 3 best jutsus and just different card choices overall. So as many of you know, the Naruto card game was created by Bandai. It started off in Bandai Japan, and then they discontinued the game, but Bandai America ended up picking it up, and we ended up having 27 really nice sets, or 27 to 28 nice sets, and it was a great card game. One of my favorites. In fact, it's still probably #1 in my opinion. But then we now have Dragon Ball, and Dragon Ball is by Bandai Japan, and they're doing a good job, a little rough around the edges, but still doing a good job. So you guys already know that I'm known for Dragon Ball content, but if you actually viewed any of my earlier videos, you would see that I actually had Naruto content. And not only just Naruto content, I also have relationship advice and just life-related topics. So expect that in the near future. This channel is all about you. It's all about the communities, the people that want to talk about your life or like something that's going on, like problems that you're going through. This is the place to do so. So I'm going to start going back into that. Don't worry, it's still going to be Dragon Ball related. However, there's going to be a lot of different topics. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to figure out an exact schedule so I can have, a set time so that you, my subscribers, will be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm in the mood to watch one of Anthony's Dragon Ball videos. So you know what days to watch it instead of you unsubscribing because you're like, oh, wait, I just see a relationship video. What is this all about? And then same goes for you guys. You guys that enjoyed my relationship advice or life-related, topics, you guys can enjoy those videos if you're not so much into the anime. I know a lot of my own relatives actually do like those type of videos and they miss it. But, I ended up focusing more on Dragon Ball since that has been you can say where my success has been so far. But anyways, we're going to jump right into a Naruto deck profile. It's actually with the TAOP standard. It's basically our own format. So this deck is from the previous format that we had. And what I'm going to do in the future is I'm going to update the list. We're going to go over the card selections and I'm going to revamp the list. So there'll be a new ban and restricted list so that we all can enjoy the game. I know a lot of people in the Naruto group would love this, and why not? Maybe in the future we can start up tournaments again. But without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. We run 3 Sabiru. So he is essentially a hand trap, if you guys are familiar with Yu-Gi-Oh terms. His ability is during the mission phase, blocker, so during your opponent's turn, if they play a battle card, but it's not really called battle card, if they play a ninja card, you can use the effect, remove them from the game. In that case, you negate the skill of the ninja that's coming into play. So it's very strong because you pretty much can stop what your opponent is doing before they do it. And what's great about this card is that he is fire and water, so he's dual color. And as I've said before in the past in Naruto videos, dual color and tricolor cards are like the best because you can use them for different jutsu costs and use them for different skills that will give you a lot of advantages during gameplay. Moving forward, we run the best zero drop of the game. Thank you, Pat O'Neill. Shout outs to him. He ended up making this card with his group, but it wasn't supposed to be this way. Originally, the card was supposed to be valid, so he would only be able to be sent out by himself, period, despite if he's in injured status or in healthy status. He's a 5-0 beat stick. He has a lot of the key characteristics that we're looking for in a card, which is Sharingan Eye and, of course, Male, Genin, and Leaf, which some of those are good based on the decks that you're playing. We run one of Kisuke. He is basically an Anbu card that when he's in play, if he ever dies in battle, he comes right back. And what's good is that he'll come right back with a coin and you get more bang for your buck. So like essentially you attack me, let's say with a 5, let's say you're attacking with a team of 5. I can block with my Kisuke. He'll go right into injured status. Then from injured status, I can use him for another block. So if your opponent is, again, if my opponent is attacking me aggressively, I can block off with him. Now he dies. He comes right back into play in this position with the coin, which is really awesome. It's abusable in certain cases, depending on what kind of deck you're playing. I run a one of Hinata Hyuga, Awaken. This is actually my favorite card of the game. For being a 0-drop, she has a lot going for her. So, for one, she has a lot of the main characteristics that most cards would want as an early game, as being a turn 0. But what makes her really good is that every time she's sent out to block, she gets a coin symbolizing a +1/+1. It's a growth coin. So essentially, you're constantly getting stronger every time you use her to block or defend yourself, which she starts off as a 0-1, but when your opponent's attacking you, she immediately becomes a 1-2 in her healthy side. And if she's already injured, she becomes a 2-2, which is really cool. So this card is just great when you're playing defense, and then eventually you can use her offensive. And then she has that extra ability, that little oomph, which allows you to reduce your opponent's hand size by 1. Moving forward, we run 2, Hotaru. She was amazing. This card, towards like the end of the game, she was being very heavily played. One of the best cards. She's dual color, water and wind, which are very key symbols, since a lot of the best cards in the game are either lightning water, which attributes to water, or earth wind, which attributes to the wind factor. When she comes into play, you flip a coin. If heads, you draw a card. If tails, she gets a growth coin. Now, what's so cool about this is that when she comes into play, if you get heads, you draw a card. Now, if you growth her, because she has the keyword growth in bold letters, you can potentially get tails and she becomes a 5-2 ninja, which is incredible for a turn 1. Imagine you play her on turn 0, then on 1 you growth her and she's a 5-2 ninja. And even if she's not a 5-2 ninja, she'll still get growth, so she'll become a 4-1 with another draw. So that means you drew 2 cards off of her. Our next, well, now we're going through our 1-drop. So this was our 0-drop lineup. I only run 9 0-drops. I was one of the few players that constantly ran the fewest amount of zeros. Going down, 1-drops. We run Naruto Uzumaki, Clone. So he is a very good card because when he comes into play, you can search your deck for pretty much what you're going to see. You're going to search your deck for Konohamaru Ninja Squad, or you can search your deck for Naruto Reliance, which I'm going to go into that, but it's just very strong. For being a 1-drop, he has a 5-0 status, so unlike Sasuke, he could be teamed up with ninjas, which is very good if he's in injured status. And he's a 1-0, so essentially, you want to get him injured, and it's easy. If your opponent attacks you, they're going to help you get a 5-0 beat stick, which you're going to swing right back at them. The next card I run is Ino. Ino childhood has been amazing. Now, in our list, a lot of these cards are restricted. So like the Sasuke's were restricted to 2. In this case, the Ino is restricted to 1. She's extremely strong. So when she's in play, if I have a total mental power of 5 or more, and it's valid, which is amazing, at the start of my turn, I can mill cards from the top of my deck in order to draw a card. I mill 3, I draw 1, which is great because it's easy to get mental power in this deck. As you're going to see a lot of cards like Kabuto, Yakushi. He is one of the best Kabutos ever printed. Database is amazing. He has mental power too, which helps Ino. And when he comes into play, you search your deck for a water mission card, period. Any water mission card. So if it has dual color or tricolor, you can still search for it. The next card I run is Shion Awaken. Shion Awaken is a card that a lot of people felt was very oppressive at one point, because if you're winning the game, she allows you to keep winning the game. So her ability is, and off of being pretty decently statted, you can remove her from play during your mission phase, and if you do so, you can remove one of your opponent's ninjas that are 4 or less. And that's very strong. So it's a 1-drop being able to remove from the game a 4 or less character, which is extremely strong. And you can break off your opponent's ninjas and really put them out of whack. So you can mess up their team powers and then become very aggressive to either go for game. If your opponent is already at 8 battle rewards, you can remove one of their ninjas if they have 3 teams. Make sure that they have 2 teams and now swing out with 3 teams of 5 and you win if they don't have jutsus to beat you. The next card we run is Temari. She is a classic. Temari Windscythe has always been one of the strongest cards in the game. When she comes into play, you look at your opponent's hand and you select any jutsu and it goes straight to their chakra area, which is amazing because you're basically being able to be very aggressive while being able to see what they have. So you can use her as an aggressive tool or a defensive tool. Next card we run is Karen. This Karen, at one point, I was one of the few players running her when this card was first released in set 22. She is phenomenal. So her cost is, she gives you a chakra. She gives your opponent a chakra, so they have to have a discard pile. In that case, you can heal one of your ninjas, which means that you could reuse cards like Kisuke, which is what I said earlier, where you can constantly keep reusing him for being able to defend your life, or defend your village for that matter. Now we're going to go over our 2-drops. We run Sakura, Haruno, Book Sparks. One of the best Sakuras printed. As you can see, a lot of this deck has mental power 2 or greater, so most of my ninjas already hit those stats. Anytime I play a ninja through deployment, so it can't be through any kind of special summoning, if they have mental power 2 or greater, I draw a card. And when she comes into play, I draw a card. And Sakura has 3 mental power, which means that if I drop Ino and then I drop Sakura right afterwards, I'm going to have the total mental power cost to use her effect. So I'm just getting so much draw power by having both of them in play. The next 2-drop I run is arguably the best 2-drop in the game, which is Konohamaru Ninja Squad. He was reduced to 1 copy because of how strong he was. And he has growth, guys, which is insane. When he comes into play, you look at you reveal the top card of your deck and add it to your hand. It's very strong. So your opponent gets to see what you added to your hand, but it's already a replacement. Now, he has the most ridiculous stats in the game. For being a 2-drop, he has mental power 4, which is insane. That's one of the highest amount of mental powers you have, especially that early, other than Shikamaru. You have one of the most key characteristics, which is clone status, and then you have growth. Those characteristics are just mind-blowing because they allow you to do so much in the game. And being a 2-3, which he has 3 support guys, so he's a great back row ninja for any of your teams. And not only that, but his best effect is basically any leaf ninja that's on his team is protected from your opponent's effects. So that's great. So valid. Other leaf ninjas in this ninja's team cannot be affected by the effects of your opponent's ninjas, which is super good because if you have, let's say, Sakura on the team, or if I have Ino on the team, or if I have Hinata on the team, my opponent cannot use none of their ninja effects to target them, which is very good. Now moving on to our 3-drops. We run Toby Mana Mystery. Now you guys may have already remembered me as this character. A lot of people ended up calling me Toby since I did a cosplay when I was banned. That was one of the most iconic moments in Naruto, and I'm happy that it happened regardless of me being, banned for it. His effect is you remove him from the game. So he was a Rata, guys. If you don't know that, instead of going to the bottom of the deck, you remove him from the game. In that case, you draw 2 cards and you discard 1. A free filter. So on turn 0, you can you can have him in your hand. You can use them to start filtering whenever you need it. Our next 3-drop is Naruto Uzumaki Reliance. He's actually limited to 1, just like Kabuto and just like Shion and just like Toby and Konohamaru. So you're going to notice there's a lot of 1-ofs in this deck, or 2-ofs, because they're restricted. When he comes into play, you search your deck for a lightning or wind mission card and you add it to your hand. And what's so good about this card is that you can add it from your drop zone, your discard pile. Second off, valid, your other leaf ninjas get +0/+1. So he gives your other leaf ninjas 1 support. Your Konohamaru Ninja Squad becomes a 4 supporter. Your Sakura becomes a 3 supporter. It's just ridiculous. And then he has the standard stats of being a 3-0, 6-0. He can go into a lot of our extra cards, which I'll show you later. Sai, one of my favorite cards. He's very abusable. For 1, he's an Anbu, which you're going to see why that's very important. He has 2 mental power, and when he comes into play, you can, if you pay 2 earth, you can take 1 of your battle rewards back. So you're taking some damage early, you could purposely give your opponent battle rewards, and then take them back. Shion, I can use Shion's effect, give you battle rewards, remove 1 of your guys, play Sai, get 1 back. And if I pay the double lightning, even better. I get a growth coin, and not only I get a growth coin, but my turn marker gets increased, which is just ridiculous. So just move it up by 1. He's one of the few cards that can do what he does, and it's just very strong. The next card I run is Sasuke Uchiha. This is initial attack. He is another powerful card. When he comes into play, you can search your deck for 2 cards and add them to your chakra area. What's so cool about that is that you can start setting up your turns where you search for 2 ambush ninjas, which ambush is the key word. He has it. Ambush simply means that once the card is in your chakra area, you can play it. So it's just another zone where you could play from. And he's one of the main cards we use for a lot of our squads and reinforcements, which is very good. And of course, it's Sasuke, so he's very high statted. We run Hidan. Hidan is incredible. Hidan is just a reusable card. He just constantly comes back once he's in your discard pile, as long as you give your opponent a battle reward. And like what I said earlier with Sai, you combine Hidan with Sai. I bring him into play for free. Play Sai, grab a battle reward back. So I'm giving you cards that I'm just going to take right back. The next card we run is Kakashi Anbu Days. He was a big hit during pre-formats, like many formats before the game ended, and it's for a reason. He can literally bring back any Anbu card from your discard pile, which is incredible, or your chakra area. So it's just incredible. You could bring him back from either area, and you're basically, I could bring back Sai, use Sai's effect, and just start a multitude of different things. We run Yamato. Yamato is incredible. He's a 5-drop. His ability, once you have 12 or more mental power, you can start recycling your jutsus and mission cards, which is incredible. Itachi. Itachi is great because he allows you to look at your opponent's hand and restrict what they do based on what they have in their hand, because if they have 2 ninjas or 2 missions or 2 jutsus or 2 clients, basically, Itachi, every time I win a victory, I'll win a battle reward if they meet that requirement, which is insane. And being able to look at your opponent's hand, you know when you can go for a game, you know how you could play the game, because there are no secrets. You don't have to second guess yourself. We run Deidara. In this list, I didn't run Deidara originally. I had Broke, but one of my friends is borrowing that card, so Deidara is the replacement. He's just one of the most incredible ninjas. He is a win con himself. His ability, you can pay 1 earth or 1 fire, and you can sacrifice one of your ninjas, pop one of them to the drop to your discard pile, and win a battle reward. If it's 4 or less, you win 1 battle reward. If it's 5 or greater, you win 2. There's a loop that I like doing with Hidan, where you just keep popping Hidan after you attack with them, and you just keep winning free battle rewards. And if I go into his reinforcement, it's even more hectic. Moving forward, for our clients, we run 1 Amy. When she comes into play, if I have 2 or more females, I can look at my opponent's hand. Notice the trend. I have a lot of cards that look at my opponent's hand. And I can select a mission or jutsu from their hand, and it goes straight to the discard pile. I run 1 Never Ending Love. This card was restricted to 1 because it's extremely powerful. When you play it, you draw 3 cards, and you just can't organize. That's your only drawback, not being able to organize for the turn. As you can see, I play cards like Solo Attitude, I play cards like Kisuke. So on turn 1, I could play double 0-drops, be aggressive, attacking, and draw 3 cards, build up chakra, so I can be able to use my jutsus early. The next card we run is 2 Axis of Evil. When your opponent is at 5 or more in battle rewards, you double everything up. So you're able to draw 2 cards, you're able to go into your deck and discard 2 cards. What I like fetching for in this deck is cards like Hidan and cards that I can loop back. So like I can grab a Hidan, I can grab a Itachi and select those. Then I can use cards like Kakashi when I play them, and I can bring them into play. So like this deck is very combo based. I will give like a tutorial on how to play it in future videos, but it's very nice, and if you play it correctly, you can gain a huge advantage over your opponent. The deck itself is pretty fair, but it's unfair when you play effectively. So essentially this card is just like a toolbox card. We use it, you search for what you need, and you draw, which is great, and you build chakra of fire and water. The next card we run is Triple Interruptions. Interruption is one of the most arguably best cards in the game as far as when it comes to negating missions. It's probably the best mission negate. You can only use a mission once per turn. That's how the game was designed. So because of that, being able to stop one of your opponent's mission cards, you're basically stopping them from having access to progressing their game state. We run 2 Shikamaru's Decisions. This card is great because, for one, it's a tutor card. So what you do is you target one of your ninjas. Based on that ninja's mental power, you can search your deck for a ninja with an equivalent cost of that ninja's mental power and search for it and add it to your hand. If it's a female though, so that's why I was talking earlier about certain characteristics being very strong. If it's a female, you draw a card. So for example, if I search for a Konohamaru Ninja Squad or if I search for Sakura, I can add it to my hand and then I draw a card and then now I play Sakura and then I draw a card, or I play Konohamaru and I look at the top card, reveal it, add it to my hand. So you have a lot of plays like that. So that's what this card does, and it's just really effective. The next card we run is Monster Research. Thank you, Eric Malone, for creating this card. It's similar to Magic. It's actually like a Magic design card. What it does is when you activate it, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Your opponent selects 2 piles of what cards they want with those 4. So for example, your opponent could select piles of 2 and 2. You have to select whatever your opponent organizes. But it's a very efficient card and it allows you to do a lot of things. I run 1, the Great Naruto Bridge. It does not count for your 1-turn mission card. So that 1-turn limit that you normally would have when you play a mission card, it does not affect that. Second off, what it does is I can target 1 in-play card. So when I activate it, I put the top card in my deck to my chakra area, and I can target any in-play card and negate its effect for the turn. If my opponent played Interruption on me and tried to negate one of my missions, I can use Chain the Great Naruto Bridge and negate the interruption. That's what it's played for. So anytime your opponent is trying to disrupt you, you play that card and you can check them. 1, Anko's Memory. Anko's Memory is at 1 in the list. It's a very strong card. What it does is you activate it, you get to select up to 3 cards in your chakra area and add it to your hand. As you guys can see, this deck recycles itself. You can recycle cards from the chakra area back to your hand, from the discard pile back to your hand, from the discard pile into play, from the chakra area into play. Like the deck itself, if you play masterfully, you can do pretty much anything with the deck, which is very good. We run 1 Clash. Clash was, the effect text of Clash in our format is that if you control Naruto, when you activate the card, you draw 2 and you can put up to 2 cards from your discard pile into your chakra area. And if you control Sasuke, you can target one of your battle cards and one of your opponent's battle cards, and they're forced to fight. They're forced out to battle by themselves, and it's just a 1v1, which is very good because it's similar to Kidomaru State 2's effect, which is really good if you guys know about that. Alright guys, so we run 1 copy of this card. You target 1 ninja. It requires a ninja with ninjutsu. So for as many jutsu cards you have in your discard pile, that's how much damage it deals to 1 ninja. And what's great about this card is that your opponent does not need to send that ninja out to battle. So it doesn't need to be opposed. You can just use it and snipe any ninja you need to get rid of. Moving on to our next card, which is very similar, but it's for the hand, Byakugan. It costs 1 earth or 2 generic. What it does is you target one of your battle rewards, you flip it face up. For as many symbols as it has, you get to select cards from your opponent's hand at random and discard it. And it doesn't have a specific requirement as far as a user. The next card we have is Reanimation. It costs 1 win or 2 generic. You need a medical ninja in order to get the full value of it, but any ninja can use it. If you have a non-medical ninja, you target one ninja. That ninja, you heal it and you draw a card. If it's a medical ninja, you can pick up a card from your discard pile and add it to your hand. So essentially it's a +1 if you have a medical ninja, which is really cool. It's mainly used to constantly loop cards of the deck, like being able to use Byakugan, then activate after Byakugan resolves, you use Reanimation, you pitch the Byakugan, you pay the 2 generic, you pitch it, you bring it right back into your hand, you heal one of your guys or you heal one of your opponent's guys, and then you use it again, you use Byakugan the same turn. So you can essentially clear their whole hand out, depending on how you play it out. The next card we run is Tsuchigumo Style Big Bang. We'll leave it at that. It costs 1 win or 1 lightning, pretty generic. You charge 1 card, then draw 2 cards. It's a replacement. It filters through your deck, and you build chakra with it. We run 2 Infinite Embrace. And by the way, this card is at 2 on the list, and this card is also at 2. Infinite Embrace costs 1 win, 2 generic, and 1 water, 2 generic. You target 1 ninja battling against the user. Pretty simple. You flip a coin. Heads, they go straight to the chakra area. Tails, they go back to their hand. If it is tails, you draw a card, which is great. So not only they go back to the hand, but you also draw 1 card. This card is really good because anyone can use it in your deck. And a lot of jutsus back then in the game had really specific requirements, but later as the sets came out, they started making some of the jutsus generic. So now you can play a lot of cards that are really powerful with any ninja, which makes it super versatile. And it doesn't hurt that it's a 1 win and 1 water card, so it's dual color. Last but not least, probably the best jutsu in the game, arguably, it's Fear by Genjutsu. This card is 1 fire, 1 win, so being a dual color, it costs 3 chakra in order to cast. You target 1 team battling against the user, and you can push the whole team back and make them stand by. If you have the Genjutsu attribute, you give 1 damage to each ninja battling against the user in this way, which is pretty unfair. This is the deck profile. Right now, this is based off the TAOP list, TAOP list. And it's very, very strong. Overall, it will take skill to play this deck, so if you're new or you're trying to pick up something easy, this may not be the deck for you because there's a lot of thought process involved. There's a lot of 1-ofs and 2-ofs, which makes it a little more difficult to pilot, but because of the ban list and restriction list, a lot of cards have been limited. Majority of the cards in this deck are 1-ofs because they're just that good. Alright guys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that long, lengthy deck profile. Unfortunately, I can't really go through the squad and reinforcement deck because that will make the video just way too long. So what I will do is I might make a short clip in the future of what the squad and reinforcement entails and how to use it properly, okay? So thank you guys for watching this video. It means a lot to me that a lot of people were interested in Naruto because that was my favorite game, and I know that's a lot of your favorite games as well. But unfortunately, you know, the card game is no longer the same, so you can play for fun or you can play in events that I may be hosting in the future. TAOP is still there. We're just not, you know, focused on the game at this point in time. I want to thank you all for watching this video. And as always, it's all about you.